I was nominated to do the Sisterhood of the World Bloggers Award, and even though I have a written blog, I don't really write in it very much, so I'm just going to do this on here. So let's do this. Hi everybody, it's Lydia here. I was nominated in this by Angela at Angela's Epic Reads. I will link you to her blog below. It's really awesome, go check it out. She's a really great writer and I really recommend reading her blog. It's amazing. So the idea behind this nomination is that you answer the 10 questions that the person who nominated you asked, and then you nominate 10 more people and give them 10 questions to answer. So I will be nominating 10 people at the end of this, and I will put the 10 questions in the description below, so if you've been nominated then go check that out there. So the first question I got from Angela was, how many books do you have on your TBR pile? I don't have like a real TBR pile. Does anyone actually have a physical TBR pile? But I have a Goodreads to read shelf, so that will have to count, and on there I looked it up, I have 156 books on my TBR pile. To be fair, I'm not very good at going through and like sorting out the ones I have read, so there were probably quite a lot on there that I added over the course of last year that I have read since then, but I'm really bad at clearing it out. I don't know about you, but the trouble with Goodreads, I love it, it's an amazing site, I think it's such a good idea and it's great, but when you like tag something as want to read on there and then you buy it or you get a copy of it or whatever and you put in the ISBN, that's what I always do anyway, and it nearly always turns out to be a different version of the book that's on your to read shelf, and you just end up with like duplicates everywhere. So I'm just really bad at clearing out my to read shelf, so I have 156 books on there. Question number 2, do you have any book buying resolutions for 2015? Yes and no. At the end of last year I put myself under a book buying ban because I was just buying a gazillion books and just putting them on my shelf and not reading them, and this year I can't afford to keep doing that. So because I got an e-reader for Christmas, I am trying to restrict myself to buying ebooks unless I particularly want to buy a sequel for a series that I've already read, or there's a book that I know is coming out and that I'm really anticipating, and I'm not letting myself as well buy a book when I already have something that I want to read before I will get around to reading that. So I'm only buying things when I know I'm not going to just put them on my bookshelf. That's the theory anyway. Whether it lasts for 12 months is another question, but fingers crossed it will, because my bank account needs to be saved from all these books. Question number 3, what are you currently reading? I'm currently reading The Chimes by Anna Smale. I made the mistake of starting to read this just before The Mime Order by Samantha Shannon arrived, and I'm struggling, holding out to be honest. Whether or not I actually finish reading this before The Mime Order takes over my brain and I have to read it is another question, but yeah. By the way, this is just the dust cover because I always take dust covers off when I read books and I'm too lazy to go get the actual book. So yeah, it's a beautiful dust cover though. Question number 4, what was your favourite movie of 2014? And by a mile, Boyhood. Not just because I am a Richard Linklater nerd and love his movies in general, but I was just highly anticipating this movie for years, ever since it came out that he was making this 12-year epic film. I was so excited for it and it didn't disappoint. It was amazing, and even though in general last year was a really bad year for films, there were hardly any films I actually went to see, and a lot of the ones I didn't enjoy. I didn't think it was a very good year. In spite of that, this wasn't just like the best of a bad bunch, it was just a really good film, and if you haven't seen it then it's so good, go see it or buy it. Question number 5, what is your most anticipated book of 2015? Now that The Mime Order is out, I am going to try and not say that. So I'm going to say Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I mentioned this in my top 5 Wednesday most anticipated releases of 2015 video, so I'm not going to go over it again, but you can go and watch that video to find out more about why I'm really looking forward to this book. Question number 6? Do you read one book at a time or more than one book at a time? I'm trying to only read one book at a time because when I read more than one book at a time I often find that one or more of the books that I am reading kind of gets forgotten, and I just get kind of concentrated on one book and forget about them, and then I forget where I was and have to start them again and blah. So I'm trying to only read one book at a time at the moment. That said, I do quite often read like a graphic novel and or a non-fiction book at the same time as a fiction book, because variety is the spice of life. Question number whatever, I've lost count. What is your favourite book series besides Harry Potter? And it's going to be Lord of the Rings. It always is. Even if Harry Potter was included, Lord of the Rings was the first kind of big epic adult fantasy I read when I was a kid, and ever since then nothing has beaten it, and I don't know whether anything will. The Bone season may come close because I do love it, but Lord of the Rings all the way. What two fictional characters do you ship together the most? I'm honestly not big into shipping, especially as far as non-canon shipping goes. I'm just like not into it, just nope. That said, I do love Darcy and Lizzie from Pride and Prejudice, and I think they perfectly complement each other, so I wouldn't say I ship them. I think that their relationship is, you know, it fits with the book and it works and I enjoy it, but I don't sort of out and out go, yay, Darcy, Lizzie, yay. It's not like a thing, so yeah. Moving on. What was your favourite book of 2014? I am going to say The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. It wasn't my favourite book that I read last year, but it was my favourite book that was released last year, and I would really recommend reading it. I know a lot of people avoid it because honestly the marketing for that book was so bad. I was kind of on the edge about reading it. I didn't know whether it was really my kind of thing, but I really enjoyed it. I thought maybe it might be a bit young or a bit wishy-washy, if that makes sense, but it's really not. I don't really know why they marketed it as young adult. I wouldn't class it as young adult. I would sort of say it's sort of like on the younger end of the adult, but it's not young adult, and that doesn't make any sense, I know, but it's, I don't know, I just didn't think it fitted into the YA genre in general. And if you're kind of put off because you don't think it sounds like your kind of book, honestly I wasn't sure whether I was going to enjoy it, and I really did. And I know a lot of people didn't read it at first and then were persuaded to read it later on, and I'm so glad they did, because they didn't think they were going to enjoy it and did. So if you don't think it sounds like your kind of thing, give it a try. You might not like it, but I know a lot of people who didn't think they would and ended up doing so, so give it a go. And that is it for my questions today. I am going to nominate, and I've written them down because there are 10 of them and I'm really bad at remembering things. So I am nominating Sabrina at Stay Cucino, Janie at Bookworm's Buddy, Michelle at Michelle Fluttering Butterflies, Ashley at Faithfully Moonstruck, Sarah at Crawford Reads, Catherine at The Android's Conundrum, Erica at Erica Esther, Sylvia at Wish Fulfillment, Tamara at Tamara Woods, and Maya at Reading Obsession. The 10 questions for you guys are in the description box below. If you want to do the 10 questions and I didn't nominate you, then you feel free to do so. Just link me to your video so I can watch it. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I'll be back tomorrow with my top 5 Wednesday, but until then, bye!